Guys, welcome back to a new video here on my 4-2 channel. I'm an Embraer 195 pilot, and this is a Boeing 767. I have never flown before, but nevertheless, it's a lovely aircraft. I love it when I see it around here in Vienna. So I want to take it and fly to a nice airport. We actually fly in our Embraer 195 as well. And let's see how it does. And this is actually not too far off. This is 767, about 230 people can fit in there, and it's obviously a long-haul aircraft, but especially Niki Lauda is a very famous sport athlete, a Formula One racing driver, I think, and obviously he had that airline as well, and he personally, even as a pilot himself, flew to charter destinations like Greece all the time. So this is what we are going to do today: take the 767 and fly to a charter destination, not Greece in this case, but Calvi. Calvi is located in the beautiful north part of Corsica. Corsica is an island here in the middle of Europe, one of the most beautiful islands in Europe, in my opinion. It's a very challenging airport as well. We'll have some northerly winds today, and the airport is located within high-rising terrains to all sides, except from the north. So this will mean we'll fly a visual circling today with the 767, which is something that I love to do, obviously. So we are fully loaded already. Fully loaded already with about 235 passengers, a bit of cargo, and fuel to have an alternate, which is Marseille in this case. With the aircraft, I didn't do much at this point. This is 767 with the new avionics upgrade, which is quite nice. Looks much like the newer Boeings as well. And what we will now do is I have already started to align the IRS. The IRS is up here. Did that already, so that's good. Let's just go through the overhead panel with the checklist and hope for the best, right? Because I'm obviously not type rated on the aircraft, so this is what we're gonna do. Amplified, electric power established, APU selector. We don't need that at the moment, so let's just skip that. It's cold. We're here at like 4 in the morning or 5 in the morning, so it's still cold. RS status display, let's check that. That's fine. The quantities are all verified. We have enough fuel on board. Wherever the fuel is up here. 13 tons of fuel on board. That's good. That's fine. CDU pre-flight. Let's do the pre-flight actually. So this is the CDU. Let's pre-flight that. Okay. As I said, but that CDU is probably not too different from the CDUs on the Embraer, so not too bad. Let's go to ident. I want to set the route actually, index. Route, there it is. Going from Lima, Oscar, this is Innsbruck, also a very special airport. A very weird flight, definitely. Something that probably Niki Lauda would have definitely picked off himself. Actually, he was rated on all aircrafts. I've flown with a few captains on the Embraer 195 that actually flew with Niki Lauda himself, and they always said it was a very nice. He never wore a uniform. That's something funny. He never wore a uniform, but he did fly quite good. He was rated on all aircraft. That they had on the CRJ, Boeing 737, 777, 767. He was rated on all the aircraft, and so yeah, I think a pretty nice chap, definitely. So, what's the wind situation like in Innsbruck? We are taking the real weather actually at the moment. So wind is currently 4 knots, 360. So we're gonna depart runway 08. It's just easier departure for us. And departure route is called Adoli to Juliet. We have the 1 Juliet right here. Let's go 1 Juliet. Execute departure. Route 2. Why is there route 2? I don't wanna. Do I have to put it in again, or LOWI to Lima Fox Kilo Charlie? We're learning it together as we go, because I don't really know too much of the 767. I've flown it a lot of times back when I didn't have the 77, the 777, the 777, But now that I have the 7, let's go 08, Adole Mon Juliet, and execute. Okay, where can we execute? Let's go to legs. Weird. Route, initial. Let's start with that. Why don't we start with that? Okay, operation ground. Our gross weight, let's say our zero fuel is 120.3. Reserves about 5 tons. That is alternate fuel and final reserve fuel. We got a 30 minutes of final reserve fuel, obviously. The cruise altitude, by guessing, is probably quite high, 370, yeah, because it's a light aircraft and has a lot of power. Cost index is just gonna do 35. And our Embraer cost index is most of the time between like 8 and 25, never higher than that. Okay, departure arrival. Why can't I press departure? Yeah, this is exactly what I want to do. Why can't I do that, guys? Okay, that's weird. So I'm gonna figure that out, and I will be back with you in just a few minutes. Okay, as soon as you guys were away, I figured it out. It was route 1 legs is where the route 1 legs is. I can activate that, execute that, and there we go. So Adilo, and then a route continues by those points. It's not too bad. Let's go to Mokti Natak. Usually have my routes on the iPad, but obviously you won't see the routes on the iPad, so this is why I have it here on the screen. Via Milan, FIR, Atpet Ekdok. Atpet Ek. And once I put in a waypoint, I immediately check the distance between those waypoints. It's not in the database. The reason why it is not in the database, Ekdok, is because I do not have the latest cycle, because I'm not a Navigraph subscriber. They do not sponsor me as well. So this is why I might be missing some waypoints. This is a minor issue when flying on VATSIM. I do flying on VATSIM sometimes. Because obviously I don't want to be the kind of guy that can fly any departure routes. This is kind of embarrassing at times. Index, go arrival in LFKC. We're gonna go we're gonna do a normal approach into runway 18, and once we are Ligur. So we're gonna go to do the RNAV 18 Zulu via the Ligur 2. And transition wise, let's see if Chartfox is very nice. I do love them. Obviously I have charts as well for the but I can't show them, our charts. I can't unfortunately show our charts, but we have nice charts here as well. That's pretty cool. Go to Ligur, then we're at Bixi. Routes, execute, and now we can actually see what that looks like here on our navigation screen. So let's go to that, and let's actually try to scroll through this. How can I scroll through this map? It's embarrassing. Legs. I want to scroll through this map. Okay, it probably will be fine. Let's not scroll through this map at this time. We're just going to do the takeoff performance, and there is unfortunately no way to calculate the takeoff performance in this case. So what we're going to do, we're just going to select flaps. What is probably the the normal flap setting for this aircraft, probably flaps 5. It's a short runway, we're going to do flaps 15. Flaps 15, we're not too much limited with our performance today. Takeoff thrusts, again, I'm not rated on this aircraft, so I'm going to select the temperature, like 40, like let's say 36 degrees, which we are still probably very light on today, so we not have too much of a problem with the takeoff. Trim 1.7, I'm going to set that later. I hope I don't forget, guys. There was our V speed. And again, this is a very minimal takeoff and takeoff calculation. You probably will do it much better in the real one, obviously. 18 degrees outside temperature, and that's it. Don't have to do much more than that. Cruise already here, all good. Again, quite easy to set up this aircraft. Not a problem at all. So is there any way to zoom in or zoom out? There has to be. Yeah, there it is. Oh, I know how to do it. We're going to do this, go to legs, and there we can check out the route. That's cool. There we can check out the route. So let's check it out. I think for what this aircraft is it's actually quite an old aircraft already. It's wonderfully modeled, and I think even the graphics hold up quite nicely. I don't think it's too bad for an aircraft at this age. Initial climb is 110, and QNH in here is 1017. So let's set that. Obviously, we're still in inches. It's in Boeing. It's an American aircraft. America. Yeah. 1017 here on 3 altimeters. We always have 3 altimeters. That's something I forgot all the time. To set all the altimeters on the smaller airplanes. Let's continue with the checklists. There we go, checklist. We did all that. We're just gonna skip that. We did all that anyways. There we go. Let's go to the next checklist. Pre-flight controlling. Yaw damper switches on. We're doing it easy, guys. We're just gonna go through, and once something is red, we're going to check that out. IP selector, we don't need that at the moment. It's just, yeah, let's start. Why not? Let's start the APU. Emergency lights, going to arm that. Passenger oxygen, yes. Window heat switches, put them to on. Smoking selectors, auto, and this is auto as well. Seatbelt sign switching on as we are fueled already. Going to put that to auto. Forward temp control is going to put that to auto and auto again. Easy aircraft, guys, easy aircraft. Flight deck temperature controls, auto. Obviously, there we go. Trim air, where is trim air, recirc fans. Start the APU. Meanwhile, there in the screen, it starts up quite nicely. I love those pop-up screens. It's so nice. Yeah, so nice. Pack control selectors, gonna go to auto. Isolation, put them all on. Engine bleed, air switches on. APU bleed switches probably on as well, yeah. Flight director switch, there is a flight director on and on. BRDME auto, both select to auto, yeah. That's auto. Oxygen tested, like this is. Yes, tested. Crew pressure is checked. That is up here. Oxygen pressure for the crew is up here. 1746. Flight instruments. That's a most important part probably. 1017 is set. Our heading is set. Let's go to this page again. Zoom all in. Heading is probably something like 08076 or something. That's good. Flight instruments checked. Normal. Secondary engine indication select. No exceedance is shown. Well, all pressure obviously is shown, but this is a normal exceedance. Computer selector auto. Computer selector auto. It's this one. Thrust reference selector. If I takeoff mode is shown. I guess this is that. We have takeoff shown here in the green. D takeoff. D rate takeoff. Minimums, well, no, we don't need any minimums at this point. HSI selector. HSI selector. That's something I need to know. Where is it? Map. HSI selector. I want to have it the HSI selector. Okay, guys, where is the HSI selector? Probably down here. Yeah, I think that's... This is the HSI. We changed that. That's fine. That's probably the standard. Speed ref. It's going to be 141 is our V2. It's going to be 151 because V2 plus 10. ADF panel, engine flag panel. We checked that. Well, we didn't check that, but we can do that. No problem. Okay, good. Transponder panel, ILS panel, we don't need that. APU5 switch is APU5 panel. Where is it? Should say it's fine. There we go. Preflight no controlling. Oh, this is just. Oh, this is again the same thing. Just gonna go through real quick. What is it? What is red here? Front exterior doors closed. We're gonna close all that in a minute. So let's go to ground. We have already the APU on. External barrier can be pushed out, and now we have air and actually electricity coming from the APU. We're gonna get a GPU. We have the parking brake set to on. Fuel truck, passenger bus, loader unit, all away. Stairs, jocks, and then airplane. We're gonna close all. Go back to the checklist. So nice how the door actually is very unique to this aircraft. It goes up and away into the ceiling of the aircraft. That's pretty cool. Right elec pump. Let's set up the overhead panel, and then we are probably much more green over here. So we can pressurize all the hydraulics. Pumps, set them all to on. Anti-collision light is gonna be on, red. Recall switch, we're gonna recall. Left engine shutdown, hydraulic, yeah, that's normal. And parking brake, that's good. Trim, it's gonna go to what is it? It's gonna go to, there's a trim, 1.7, it's 1.7 units. Same trim as in the 777. Trim can be set once the aircraft is powered by hydraulics. That makes sense. In the Embraer 195, actually, I think the horizontal stabilizer is powered electrically, so you don't have actually to have. You can use the trim at all times once the aircraft has AC power, so you don't need to pressurize hydraulics for that. Okay, that's 1, 1.5, 1.7. There we go. Trim is set. Engine start. That's easy. Should be easy. Well, let's see. This is actually a pushback location, but as there are no aircrafts around us, we can actually just start the engines and just make a right turn towards the holding point pharmacy array. So that's what we're going to do. Pack selectors, they go off. That's the pack selectors. Left engine start to ground. And wait for the fuel to increase to 15%. Actually, it's 20% in the Embraer. It says 15%, and you have to select fuel manually. There goes the fuel. Now we have fuel flow somewhere. Somewhere is the fuel flow. Yeah, fuel flow. There it is. There goes our N1 indication. That is something that I look at because I don't have actually any reference to what EPR is. I know what EPR is, exhaust pressure ratio. It's a ratio of kind of what goes in, what goes out. But wait for idle. We did that. Now let's repeat for the second engine. So put the second engine to ground. Wait for our N2 to increase to 15%. Again, looking at the N1 most of the time, I don't know actually what the APR like feels or is what is like. We missed our N2. Let's see. Hopefully we don't get any start malfunctions, but I don't think so. Again, our EGT here, exhaust temperature, exhaust gas temperature is something we watch very closely during engine starts, as this is the main indication of whether we are aboard an engine start or not. Looks good. And actually 70%, the EGT limit goes away to the normal in-flight limit, and we are good to go, generally speaking. Obviously, anything can happen during engine start all the time. This is, I think, not a fully fed controlled engine start, so you do have to apply fuel manually and stuff. On the 777, it is fully controlled, actually. So, okay, this is the after start before taxi flow. We're going to do that by heart now. Why not? This is good. Standby power looks much like the APU. This is something they designed, I think, very, very poorly. APU goes off. Packs go on. Left isolation switch goes off. APU bleeder switch go off. Status display, we're going to select status displays. The engines are started. Select flaps to 5. Is it 5? Yes, 5. I think we selected flaps 15. Yeah, flaps 15. Let's go one more. Flaps 15. Transponder is 1000. Obviously, we have been cleared 1000 as always. Gonna put Alt on as we're taxiing. Taxi light and logo. Logo is on. Taxi light is gonna be nose gear. That's probably taxi light, right? Yeah. No, it's not the taxi light. Runway turn off. Maybe this. No, not at all. It's fine. Nose gear for the time is fine. We're gonna select LNAV and VNAV, and then we're gonna go in taxi. So we are good to go. We have received the clear signal, and the after start checklist is completed. Next one is before takeoff. Okay, parking brake is off. We're gonna use our nose wheel steering and only use the left-hand engine. I do love those vintage displays. They look so cool. Here, very, very well modeled on the 767. Cool. I love the 767. It's such a nice aircraft. This one, actually, the Oscar Kulima Alpha Echo, or whatever it is called, is still flying here for Austrian. So that's cool. And actually, one of those crashed very famously on a flight from east to Vienna. I don't know, maybe Bangkok or something. They crashed over or some kind of jungle. And we have no V-speeds. Why don't we have no V-speeds? Why do we have no V-speeds? Oh yeah, there we go. Now the V-speeds are back on. Okay, so once we are there, we do not need to backtrack. We have a very lightly loaded aircraft, and the runway is fine. My frame rate is kind of bugging a bit. Oh, I hope that it's gonna get better once we are airborne. It's always a problem with the weather. If there are a lot of clouds around and stuff, it's that's what the problem usually is. I think the sounds of the aircraft and all of that stuff is pretty cool as well. I don't think that this is too bad of an add-on, especially with the pack with the 757 combined. The 757 is a very nice aircraft to fly in a simulator, as you can do short haul, you can do long haul to a certain extent, or medium haul. It's a beautiful aircraft, powerful aircraft, and there are still some airlines, some English charter airlines, and also other airlines using it, which is quite nice. I think Condor is still using it even. So yeah. Guys, hope you're here with me here in frame rates. I'm sorry, guys, but wide on, landing lights on. And let's do our before takeoff checklist. Transponder CAR, obviously. Auto brake RTO. Before takeoff checklist completed. Let's continue with our lineup. Approach check the left is clear. Approach check the right is clear. We're clear to take off. I love how the screens pop out like this. This is very cool. Very cool to fly with. Again, guys, once we're up in cruise or once we're up on climb out, nothing much is happening. I will meet you guys back once we are approaching Calvi, probably around 10,000 feet, or maybe before we do the approach preparation, obviously. I'll talk you through the circling. We will do a normal circling procedure as per 767 circling standards, much like in this Embraer as well. Normal circling procedure. It's going to be nice. It's going to be very interesting, and also a very hard approach to fly with this big of an aircraft and this tight of an airport. It's going to be pretty interesting. Okay, guys, we are finally lined up with the runway. Going to select auto thrust to arm. Now we're going to do a rolling takeoff. Thrust set. Keep my arm on the thrust lever until V1, obviously. $100 knots. Okay, the runway is quite short actually. Rotate. What is happening? Positive brake gear up. Guys, that was not very professional. Gauge autopilot. Autopilot. Bird speed. Bug up. Whatever the procedure is here. We're still here with takeoff thrust, so let's go select flight level change. We're 1,000 feet, flight level change. VNAV speed. Let's see what VNAV speed is doing. And then we can talk about what happened on takeoff. Got climb power set already. Let's go select climb thrust. Yeah, climb thrust is selected. And let's see at what point the aircraft will accelerate, because now we're looking for the acceleration. Climb. What is the altitude? Oh yeah, 165, that's a speed constraint. That's a speed constraint. That should be like that, but I think we can already probably select flaps 5. Select flap 5, reduce the drag a bit. I think we're good to go. And let's talk about the takeoff. What happened there? I put in the V speeds. Maybe they're still there. Let's see. Let's see what V. I think I rotated at like 130. Let's see what V1 was. V1 was okay. I rotated at like 130, probably. I think. So why did I hear the stick shaker? This is weird. Did normal rotation. I did maybe even a slow rotation. So it's weird that the stick shaker came up. But actually, that was what I talked about in the beginning of the video. Is that we don't have a good way to calculate takeoff distance with the 777 by flight factor, or even the Tolly's A321, A330. There's a very good and easy and reliable way to calculate takeoff distance and usually works all the time. But with this way, with the auto V speeds, you do need a secondary software. You do need some kind of software to fly it in a good way. Because you saw what just happened. The V rotation speed was definitely not calculated properly. And also, I should have taken the whole runway. I didn't want to bother with the backtrack. I didn't have a software as well to check out if we have enough margin to go without a backtrack. Because usually you will calculate at the takeoff with or without a backtrack from a certain there we go, speed constraint is off from a certain intersection, or even maybe from full length. You will either do that or that. So what we just did was definitely not the right way. We did take off from an intersection without calculating anything, but the thing that I thought is that we didn't calculate anything anyway, so if we would take the whole runway or in an intersection, will probably doesn't matter. But actually, of course, it does matter. So let's go flaps 0. Also, what I'm missing, maybe it's really not there on the 767. Maybe you retract the flaps on speed by memory, but usually in the Embraer on the 777 as well. Let's set standard real quick. Standard. And the standards here on the second, on the co-pilot side as well. And we have level 100. Let's landing lights go off. Logo light go off. We are pretty light at the moment as well. Should I start the safety count demonstration? Mate, I think it's very much too late for that already, but it doesn't really matter. Let's go to checklist. Let's do our after takeoff checklist. All off. Perfect. Next is descent checklist. So yeah. Okay, that was not very well calculated. The turn was still calculated. Let's just do a direct now to Innsbruck. The turn was calculated with probably speed 165, but now that the plane accelerated as we reached 10,000 feet, we overshot probably the turn. So this is something that shouldn't happen in real life as well. So we are already over the terrain, I think. Let's check it out. Looks good from here. Let's say at flight level 150, we are cleared direct to Natak. This is something they will tell you a lot of times is passing 6,000 feet, cleared direct Rupert, direct Natak, whatever the point may be. So at a certain altitude, you do have the terrain clearance to go direct to a point, and you don't have to fly along that route all the way. Yeah, the cabin crew just told me that I might have forgotten about the cabin safety demonstration. Yes, but actually that is your area of responsibility. Okay, we are past 150, so cleared. We are cleared direct to what was it called? Natzak. Cleared direct Natzak. Direct Natzak activates. There we go. Pretty cool. Well, I think except from the stick shake on takeoff, which was not normal, pretty good, pretty easy aircraft to fly. I love the aircraft. I really do. I think it looks amazing, especially with the Lauder livery. It kind of brings back memories from the past. This was the first airline I flew with as a little child. Flew with a 737 from Linz to Tenerife, and then now we're flying the 767 on a simulator to Calvi. Again, Calvi, you will love it. It's a very nice aircraft, a very nice airport, and especially an interesting airport to circle at or to land it in generally. So that's going to be nice. I'm going to pretty good climb right here with the light aircraft. Easy going. I'm going to select the direct to again as the aircraft is struggling a bit, I think. Got a alt alert. Okay, let's go select flight level 360 as we're cleared to our final cruising altitude. Let's say flight level 360, and in the meantime, we can check out the arrival route and maybe do the approach briefing now, and later we'll see it back at like 10,000 feet, so let's do it that way. Okay, let's see what the aircraft has, what actually ChartFox says. So let's go to ChartFox. There we go. So what I will be expecting is a straight in via Big C, and then after Big C it's gonna be straight in runway 18 and then circling 36. So it's gonna check out the lag page, and let's see what the there's Soka. Let's see. So guys, got a big map here so you guys can see easily. Okay guys, there is, let's see the PFD as well. Oh, we got a PFD right there. There is Soka, and then Big C. There's a holding at Big C. Shouldn't be holding at Big C. Oh, that's a missed approach. Oh, get it. Okay. So we got Akuti, Norka, Soka. Okay, Norka, Sohoka. Norka is here. Then thereafter is Zohukar. Then Illuro. Whatever that is. But let's go after Sohuka. Let's go to Big C direct, okay? And then after Big C, it's gonna be those waypoints and then to the runway. So that's good. Looks a bit weird as we have a lot of holdings and whatever the misapproach is here, and we can actually check if that is still correct. So let's go to approach charts. Let's go do the instrument approach chart for RMP Zulu approach. And the misapproach, let's check it out. The misapproach looks good to me. Bunax, got it. No, it's not correct anymore. It's not correct anymore, but we don't care. We're not doing this approach anyways. But obviously, these are different chart dates. This is a very this is a chart which is current, and this is a chart which is not current here in the PFD. So this is why there is a difference to that. So let's see how a circling is flown. Circling profile Boeing 767, because it's different with every aircraft. Visual circling profile. Okay, we cannot find any information for the visual circling, but we're gonna just do it the way that Embraer does it, and obviously I have documents of the Embraer circling, obviously here in my documents. So we're gonna just do a normal circling prescribed as Embraer wants it, and I'm pretty sure that Boeing pretty much does it the same way anyway. So this is what we're gonna do. We have a nice PowerPoint presentation of all the normals and abnormals in our Embraer. I love to work with that once I'm refreshing on stuff, and I can't show it all to you obviously, but this is what it looks like. This is the profile, this is the PowerPoint presentation that we're working with. I got about 500 to 600 pages, and I will show you though the circling procedure. I think it's circling visual approach. There we go. It's pretty easy, not too bad. There is a lot of stuff in here that tells you about that tells you about when you can circle, if there is enough visuals. So you have to have actually circling. Something that people do not notice is a circling is actually still IFR. So it's still an IFR procedure. Also, is a visual approach. A circling and visual approaches are all still IFR procedure. So a circling maneuver is a maneuver initiated by the pilot to align the airplane with a runway for landing when a straight-in landing from an instrument approach is not possible or is not desirable. Now, today the weather in Calvi is pretty good. We could just shoot a straight-in runway 18, but it's too easy, so we're going to do a circling because it's just so much fun. And also, this is something for me actually to just get comfortable again with a procedure like this. I think for like raw data flying, this simulator, or especially a simulator like this, is something that is very useful. And I do like to train on this simulator from time to time. So it's either an RNAV, VRNAB followed by circling, or an ILS followed by circling. And we're gonna do the RNAV followed by circling. And usually on the chart there is a circling minimum somewhere around here. That's all in French. That's good. That's good. All in French. Perfect. But usually there's circling minima somewhere on. This is a chart I do not use in real life, so circling without prescribed tracks. See special instructions. There are special instructions for the circling. So let's check that out. There's a different chart for the circling chart, airdrome chart, but we cannot find the circling chart. So usually there are circling minimums at which you will circle above the aerodrome, and usually it's around like 1,000 feet above the aerodrome elevation. So this is what we're gonna do. The aerodrome elevation is usually on the chart as well. It's like 210 feet. So our circling minimum today is going to be 1,210 feet. So I'm going to put baro minimum, obviously. Baro, 1,210 feet. It's on both sides? No, it's not on both sides. But we want to carry on this side anyway. We are captain. We're flying on the left-hand side. 1,210 feet. You can, if the weather is good, circle way above that. That's the minimum circling altitude you will have to have. And let's see what the weather is like at Calvi. So the weather in Calvi is pretty good. It's there is a Cavalcade auto. The wind is from the south actually. So we might have to change the winds. So it's a realistic circling approach. 24 degrees, Cavalcade, pretty cool weather. So we're probably gonna circle at around. We're gonna circle, let's say, at 1,000 feet above the aerodrome. Anyways, so I do not find a circling minimum on this chart. Again, we do not use those charts, and the reference that they give us for the circling minimum is not here in the ChartFox program. So we're going to just circle at 1,200 feet, 1,000 feet above aerodrome elevation. The circling direction, I know this for a fact, it's going to be west of the aerodrome. So at this area, it's going to be circling as standard. So what we're going to do is visual circling. Maybe I got a profile for you guys. Wheels a circling approach. Yeah, there we go. That's good. That's a good profile for you guys. So we're gonna fly. We will gonna be approaching via the RMP, level off at 1,200 feet. Already with gear down and flaps set probably at like 15 or 20. Then we're gonna do a 45-degree right turn towards this area. Once we reach our divergence point, which is sometimes given on the chart, or in this case not, so we're gonna fly to 1,200 feet, and then once we are in a certain distance of the aerodrome, we're gonna be flying the circling approach. So to the right, and then on a downwind, we will be configuring the aircraft for further for the landing. The distance we should have here between the runway and here is about 1.5 to 2 nautical miles. So this leg will be about 30 seconds long, okay? And once we are a beam on the threshold of the runway, we're gonna be flying 30 seconds outbound as we're 1,000 feet above the aerodrome level. It's gonna be 45 at 1,500 feet above the aerodrome level. And then We will still maintain the altitude, and then here we'll do a flight director and autopilot off, and do our visual approach with continuous 3-degree descent down towards the runway. We're looking for 2 white, 2 red, obviously, and then here touchdown on the runway. So that's our plan today. Okay, guys? In case of a go-around, this is tricky. A go-around in a circling maneuver is tricky because there is no prescribed track to do a go-around with. Usually when we do a go-around, as you saw later in our ND navigational display or even on the chart, you will have usually a prescribed track to do the go-around with, but in this case not. So once we are here and this on this side, I would turn always towards the runway, over the runway, and maybe fly back the ILS and tell them I'm flying back the ILS, and then from this point I can maybe even try to re-intercept the go-around. So this is the airport. We're doing a visual circling right here, and then maybe back towards here, and then direct left Bunax. This is something I would do if we are in a downwind, and we do have to do a go-around. If the weather is good enough, we could also do a visual pattern. So let's say, in case of go-arounds, are we allowed to do a visual pattern and just do another approach for runway 36? If that is approved, then you can do that. If that is not approved, you have to fly the missed approach procedure. Again, you have to turn towards the runway, always remain within the holding area, and that's actually, we are aircraft Delta, and the radius is 2.3 miles. So we will be turning left turn 45 degrees within about 2.5 miles, and then we're good to go. So this is a good configuration. Again, this is for the A320. It's the same stuff again. Easy. 3 seconds for 100 feet, 1,000 feet. That means about 30 seconds. Start the time and then go V approach, and try to be at 1,000 feet. Should be fully stabilized, obviously. So that's good. That's a circling approach. We talked about the missed approach. And let's see what the airplane is doing meanwhile. So we are cruising around here. So it's interesting to see how fast an aircraft flies by if you would play. Is our door open? No, it's not open. Looks like a door is open. Beautiful aircraft, very old aircraft. I'm very sad they discontinued this aircraft, but whatever. Okay. So the top of the descent is coming up as well. So we're just gonna go. VNAV is armed, and now what the aircraft should do once we reach the top of the descent is just going to descend. If we pull the altitude selector to a different altitude, it should just descend. So that's good. Okay, I think we can leave it at that at the moment. And maybe, well, definitely I'm going to see you probably at like 10,000 feet. All right. Something along those lines. See you back for the visual approach, for the RMP approach, followed by a visual circling. So see you then. Bye-bye. Okay, guys, we are back. Okay, whatever. Cabin safety routine. We are back here. I'm gonna do a quick, like always, when you are gone, I will do a quick update for you to let you know what has happened in the meantime. So we have been cleared the RMP approach, runway 18, followed by circling runway 36. Let's get our chart back. Let's review it one more time. And let's see. So ground chart is good. Aerodrome chart probably, yeah. So we are gonna be coming in like this, then within about 2 miles to 45 degrees to the right. We want about 2 miles of distance between here. Then 1,200 feet. About there, we're gonna select full configuration, 30 seconds timing, fly outbound, remain altitude, left turn, visual approach, runway 36. We're gonna backtrack probably at the end because we are big aircraft. for 45 meters. I think it's not enough for this 46.7. We're gonna backtrack at the end, taxi back towards the main apron, park there. We're gonna expect in position. Meanwhile, the aircraft has ascended to 10,000 feet. We have configured the aircraft for landing. We set the power minimums. We do not need any nav aids at that point. We brief the cabin for landing. He's kind of annoyed because I didn't give him the command to start the cabin safety demonstration when we are on ground in Innsbruck, but it's his problem. I don't. It's his. Come on. I don't actually know how to start the cabin safety demonstration anyway, so I don't know. PA, let's before landing. Maybe then the cabin crew knows what we are kind of doing. Meanwhile, we set the altitude at like 4,000 feet, and we actually pretty much followed the VNAV profile until here. If you look closely, we have a restriction prior to not. There was a restriction like maintain 140 or below at Norca. This is why we're not doing an idle descent at this point. Kind of not fully idle descent. We set 4,000 feet, and our banana is about at Bisky. And this is where the RMP approximately starts. Let's see again. Approach, RMP, instrument approach at RMP Sulu. So a Suzuka with 3,000 feet, and this is, yeah, that's very good. Again, we have a cabin crew annoying me. In real life, they are much more competent and professional than here in the simulator. And again, I don't know what's the procedure here with cabin crew prepare for landing. In our airline, we do 20 minutes to 30 minutes before landing. We will do a chime like this. I don't know if you hear it. And then about 10,000 feet, or like a little bit prior to that, probably 10 minutes before landing, we'll do a cabin crew prepare for landing. Okay, for landing, we'll select flaps 1. Maybe we can do a landing performance approach. Okay, we're going to do 36 at flaps 30 at 136. That's good. Gross weight is probably correct, yeah. 136. We're going to do 140 for the approach. And then once we are established, we're going to go to the 136 to have just a little bit more margin. Okay, we clear the approach. So what we're going to do is we're going to... it's annoying as fuck. We cannot do that at this point. We're going to select our 1,300 feet in this case, as we cannot select 1,200 feet, which is the minimum. 1,300 feet. We're going to level off at this point. Our distance from the airport is, let's see, it says it right here. The program page is one of the most useful pages. Distance is about 21 miles, 5,000 feet, 5,000 times 3, about 15 miles. We're still way below glide, so no problem with that. Going through some clouds, no problem. We are all the time IFR actually, but during, of course, the visual part of the IFR flight, the circling, we have to be within those minimums that I talked about with you guys. And those minimums are actually much scarier than you think. So the personal minimums of a pilot may be way higher than that actually of that chart. And the VNAV is doing a pretty good job actually. I really like that. It's kind of descending down here with the vertical speed. We see here we have a little VNAV diamond. We are right on the VNAV profile, so I'm pretty confident in that approach. We're not going to fly fully raw data at this point. Usually I would like to do a raw data approach, but I don't want to embarrass myself here in front of the camera and you guys, my audience. So this is why I will do a full flight director, auto throttle, autopilot coupled approach. I don't want to embarrass myself too much. Look at the speed to 10 already. It's doing nice. I do not do anything. It really does a nice job at keeping it all managed at a nice speed, at a nice sequence. Let's say about 15 miles out from the airport. Let's see if we can arm our approach mode. We cannot do that. So at Big C, we should be at... Big C is not here yet, but that's Big C 3,000 feet. Okay, so we can... I select word speed at this point. Oh yeah, I think that actually has no path available. That's correct. So, but let's make it easy. Let's try to be at the mid approach point at like our circling altitude. The banana is quite helpful at this point. Let's select flaps 5, flaps 1 at this point. Easy. Let's go with altitude 1,300 feet. That's fine. The mid approach altitude for this airport is, for this approach, it's gonna be mid approach, blah blah blah. Flight 3,000 feet. It's gonna be 3,000 feet for the mid approach. Flaps 5. Let's get some speed brake going. And in the worst case, we can select gear down if you're not comfortable. So at KC409, which is KC409, probably it's this point. It's programmed in the path anyway, so let's check out the lags at KC. Okay, we're visual, via visual. So let's go gear down, otherwise the aircraft will not decelerate. Let's go select speed, let's say 160 at this point. Again, we need to be established at like 1,000 feet above aerodrome elevation. If you see my last video on the 777 short haul operation, you will know that I definitely missed my stabilization gate. So a speed like 160, 850 feet per minute. We're now 4 red. We can level off a bit. So we are below profile, definitely. This is a type of approach that does not have a GP. Again, this chart is not the chart I use at my airline, so kind of hard to work with that. So okay, we have now let's flap 15, go flaps 15. Let's go speed 150, and with that speed 150, we're gonna circle at. Got 2 whites, 2 red. So we're gonna level off at our altitude. You have to be very cautious about that because is it still okay? Yeah. I'll just pop on the ND filter for you guys. Because if you select, okay, now we are here, we are within a distance. Let's just go straight ahead for the moment. Because if you do not select vert speed prior to level off to your altitude, it will, with GP, it will just shoot down through the point of missed approach. So let's go 17180. Let's go 225 on the heading. Let's go select heading. 180 plus 22. 225 on the heading. Also, we're gonna select timer. You know, 125 for. Okay, caution terrain. You know what, guys? I'm gonna put the autopilot off. Flight direct off. It's a bit of a tighter circling than I actually imagined. In real life, you would definitely have to pull up. Again, I didn't find any circling minimums. Maybe we should have switched off the terrain pull up. What is it? Come on, guys. Bear in mind. Just bear with me for a second. Just gonna find the switch for us to do the terrain inhibit. Terrain override. Okay, guys, we're good to go again. We found the terrain override switch. In real life, we would definitely have to do our terrain escape maneuver. But here in the simulator, you know, guys, I do not want to do that. Just going to do a little bit of a right turn. And now reset the timer. We are within 1 minute, so let's go 30 seconds straight ahead. And then also select flaps landing, so flaps 30. And we're gonna get 30 seconds outbound. It's a very tight airport. I don't know if that aircraft is actually certified to circle at this airport. Again, that is something that we would have found at the circling minimum, because at the circling minimum, the aircraft category is also given. So you see if the aircraft is actually allowed to circle or not, but we did not find the circling minima because there was a different chart. I could have looked at my own charts. Bank angle. That's at 35 degrees. We're gonna try to descend again a bit already with the glide path. We still have the auto throttle selected on. Normally you would never deselect the terrain. Got 4 red. It's gonna be misapproach, guys. Maybe, let's see. I think we're good, but I think we are idle. So being idle would be a misapproach as well. Not only configuration and speed, but being idle as well should be a misapproach. Gonna go 4 red. I do have 2 red and 2 white here. Sync rate is fine. Well, the reason why probably we get a sync rate alert is that the runway is not coded in the FMS at this point. So in our aircraft and Embraer, auto throttle is disengaged. In the Embraer,
40, 30, 20, 10.
Come on. Okay, spoilers. Reverse. And they're still clapping. Those guys are still clapping. Okay, we're right at the end. We're gonna take a time and debrief this approach because it was definitely not perfect. And this is really something that I like to do. Just challenging approaches, maybe even something out of the ordinary that we would normally in real life never do. Like land at an airport with 1,000 meters of runway length, or take off from an airport with 1,000 meters of runway length. This is something we would definitely not do in real life, but something I like to do here in the simulator, just to train myself, and also it's quite fun. So let's go backtrack and debrief this approach with you guys, and let's see what we could have done better. The first thing I do is I look at my actual charts that we use for the real aircraft, and let's see what the circling minimum's gonna be at Calvi. Okay, there we go. Circling minimums. We're gonna go runway 18. RMP Zulu followed by circling. You actually have prescribed tracks, and the circling altitude. Yeah, we only have category Charlie, so we do not have. So there are no minimums here for category Delta, which is this aircraft is. The categories is defined by speeds that the aircraft operate at, and there's some certain speed at a certain flap setting with this aircraft that it is not certifiable with the category Charlie. So that aircraft actually is not allowed to fly in Calvi. That's something that we would have noticed if, when looking at this chart, it says special instructions with circling is airdrome 2. We could have gone into the AIP of France and checked it out. We should have definitely done that. again, so what we now know is that aircraft is way too big or way too fast to be circling at this kind of airport. So we now know that, and it definitely was noticeable when we got the terrain, and also we circled probably way too low. We should have circled at 2,500 feet and not at 1,200 feet. At 1,800 feet, actually, we should have circled at 1,800 feet, and we circled way below that. This is probably why we got the terrain. Now I will still upload this video. I know I should have definitely known better. I should have checked out the chart that we have. This is what the chart that we have looks like. Again, I'm not really allowed to show you guys. I think, I don't know actually, but I don't want to risk it. But I'm just going to show you a quick glance. So we have actually what's called a CFO approach, which is a company approach that the authorities do not know nothing about. But this approach is has a full circling with coded circling. So you fly a coded sequence of waypoints that will bring you to runway 36. It's kind of like an RMP approach, but you still have to be visual all the time. So there's nothing like you can do in clouds. So you still have to be visual at all times. So 767, like this aircraft, definitely can land here, yeah, but without a circling. So it definitely would be not an aircraft that you would use at this airport, as with strong northerly winds, you wouldn't be able to land here. A short runway, heavy aircraft, probably high temperatures as well. Tailwind, just it's very unstable operation this aircraft would have. So definitely not an aircraft that you would fly here, but still, I think it is fun. I like doing that. I like flying aircraft like this to an airport like this. It's just fun to do. Again, in real life would probably never happen. You could probably not do a stable operation with an aircraft like this. So landing lights off, nose gear light on, white is off, and we go here with alt on. So yeah, it's fun, guys. Fun to do that approach. Again, the terrain escape maneuver on that aircraft is on our aircraft. It's very easy. It's gonna go max forward throttle, and we're gonna go pitch up to PLI. About PLI. Pitch limit indicator, the eyebrows you would know from Boeing as well. That will be the terrain escape maneuver on our aircraft. We should have definitely done that at this point. But again, I'm kind of running out of memory card here. I've got 6 minutes left, so this is why I did not do it. Okay, this is why I did not do it. I don't want to get into any memory card problems, but of course, in real life, it's no debate. You would definitely in real life do a terrain escape maneuver, no questions asked, okay? So you got the APU available. Let's select the APU generator. It's already on. Shut down the engines. That's weird, that to have a master caution actually when you shut down an engine. So master caution during normal operation is kind of weird. Let's do our parking flow to the best of our ability. There we go, APU is on, that's good. Window heat, we do not need that at this point anymore. APU valve goes on. Isolation valve go on. Seatbelt sign go off. This goes off, beacon goes off. Yeah, I think we're done with that. So again, guys, it was fun. This approach was definitely fun. Next time I will maybe do it with a different aircraft. This is way too big for that airport. Also, the circling minimum, which was not on this chart, Fox chart, I should have probably looked at my own charts. But again, it's something I do not want to show you guys. Probably copyright or something on those charts. But it was still fun. I do now know that the 767 is too big to circle at this airport due to the category of the aircraft. So that's something that I didn't know prior to that. But that's what I love about doing those kind of simulator flights is even in a simulator, even as a real pilot, you do learn something new, and it's just fun. It's just really fun to do. So I like that. I really, really like that. So Maybe you guys have any recommendations for the next video, write it down in the comments below. Again, we debriefed the situation. I learned something from it. We're here in a simulator. We can do whatever we want. It's not like something. It's not that we have to do within as our certain operate this manual or something. So we can do whatever they want. So we did whatever they want. We flew a 767 to Calvi. So big. We learned, and we will next time take maybe the Embraer or the Airbus. But because I know for the Embraer that we can do it. So that's what we're gonna do. Okay, guys. So I hope you liked it still, and you learned as much as I did. And I will see you in the next one. So bye bye.